You're now tuned in to Flavor in Your Ear. Flavor in Your Ear.
I know other people in the industry, so people kind of know me, but I am not the person. I always used to tell people, like, don't follow me, don't mention me, all these things, because I didn't want the fame behind it. I have Graves' disease and then I have PTSD. Those two things are both like stress related conditions to where any over amount of stress will make me ill. So I don't want the attention, because the amount of stress that comes with, I got to get up and do my makeup every day. I got to, you know what I'm saying, do this. And then if I have a problem, then they're going to try to blow it out of proportion. So when you say I went step by step, I literally didn't want to take any handouts. I didn't want no mentions. I didn't want any attention that came from anything other than just my work, because now I don't owe nobody. Nobody got a one up on me. And I like it like that. It's so crazy because people used to be like, well, you ain't getting paid for your ideals. You're not charging for this. And you ain't really running the business. But the truth of the matter is I got an LLC to protect my own personal assets, because as a person that is putting out information, if I say something that somebody don't like and they try to sue me, no, you're not suing me. You're going to sue my company. And guess what? That is a limited liability company. You can't get nothing. But what happened is that I ended up building a lot of virtual relationships where people literally depend on me. If I post something now and you go and watch, you see what I post, and then you go watch your timeline, I can guarantee you it's going to be at least 10 big name somebodies that's going to do or make a post related to something that I've said. And I mean, I like it. I like the low key part of it, because I like the hide and seek of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, if you know, but if you don't know, you just looking like, oh, look. And I like it, but I also see where it was a disadvantage, because now that my books are ready, at first it was also my book. I don't have no books. I don't have nothing. What am I selling? Why am I trying to, I don't want to be out there, just be out there and I ain't got nothing to sell. So it took years to develop my books, and I was discouraged until I started listening to other audiobooks and, understanding the audiobook process, but then also listening to people talk about how it took years to write a book. So then I wasn't as like, oh my God, I've been talking about this theory book for 8 years and it ain't came yet. Yeah. But year 8, it came and it's finished. It's 9 hours long. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a real healthy book. It could go with the best of them, with the power of law and seduction, and you know what I'm saying? So, but taking it step by step, it had, like, people say you can't do it alone. You can. It just takes a longer time. But it teaches you the intricate details of whatever it is you're doing. I know everything about what I do because I do everything now. So if I ever hire somebody can't come in and just do whatever, because I've done everything here. So you can't just tell me whatever. And I like that. It's certain things about building that I like that when you get a handout, you don't experience. Even when you go and get those cash advances, a lot of people go get cash advances for books, records, all these other things, and then they be in debt. I mean, they see a little bit, but they don't really see what they could see if they didn't take that advance or get into that deal. So it is a very daunting thing for me, because I like my privacy. I like to be able to go out, especially, well, in Atlanta it's a little bit different because people see celebrities all the time. It's no big deal, but I like to be able to go out, and if you see me and know me, like, it's so funny because sometimes I go out and people will say stuff real loud and it'll make me look, you know what I'm saying? Like, where I'll be like, they must notice me or something. And it's so crazy because you don't want to think that people know who you are. I never really be like, oh, they know me, unless they start doing something to be outlandish. Like one time somebody walked past me and they start taking pictures and just elaborate. But, like, okay, but I would prefer that than to feel like I can't feel safe going outside.
Yeah. I think you really down to earth and relative to like everybody. And that's I see a lot of guests. So like I was like you at first. I was only by myself. I didn't reach out to people, but I've seen a lot of personalities up to this point, before I saw you. And the thing about it is, if you listen 10, 20 episodes ago, I don't be fake with nobody. I'm gonna let you know, like me and your conversation. So like, I really do appreciate you. Like, I don't know. It's natural. I feel like, man, like I spoke to you before. Like, it's crazy. Like, we sitting back and I'm like really engaged. I'm listening to every word you're saying. And I really like relating to it. And I really appreciate that, because not to shun my other guests or anybody like that, but some people, are a little more, they don't want to disclose certain things, or they want to, you can hear it, because some people ask me, hey, what's the topic we're talking about? Or what's your questions for me? And I'm like, nah, I look up about you, what you specialize in, what I feel you represent, and I'll give you questions that I naturally, as a person, Marques, would ask you. I look up what you may be ready to answer as well, but I'm like, yeah, I don't want to. I owe it more to my audience here, because people know me, right? Because when you first establishing a small business, you small or whatever, you advertise to people who know you, so then they know I don't in person. He don't do that. He don't do that. So this feels like I've spoken to you like 3 or 4 times. This is crazy, right? It's so crazy because you're so transparent, and I appreciate that, because that's what I've embraced as well. And maybe it's because of your life experiences and stuff like that to give you enough courage and enough, like, y'all can't see this, but I'm going to do video like later on ever. But she's very confident, beautiful, smiling all the time. You know what I'm saying? And very confident and convicted about what she speaks about. And that's key, man, because like, we're not regular folks, like that. And I don't reach out to everybody. I'm not just harping for everybody. Come on, because I'm trying to get a guest. That's not how I'm very selective, very, very selective. And I saw what you represent. As soon as I saw you're like, I was reading about you, because I take time, right? I take time, even though I'm working and stressed out and bitching about the military. I still take time. I was like, all right, it's my guest. I give myself a week, because I'm gonna take a day. I'm gonna read about whatever you share into the public. What your story is, like that. Like, all right, yeah, she cool, she a good fit. He's cool, he's a good fit. And then I say, yeah, let's make a date or whatnot, because I'm not just in here harping. I don't care if you was whoever you was. I'm not just getting you for, like, that's not why I do this, right? And it may not be the fastest route or to blow up or whatever it may be, but I feel better about a lot of quality over quantity. Mm-hmm. I feel like every guest I choose is quality, and I feel like you fit the narrative, like this great, you fit the narrative great. And I knew as soon as I was reading about you, I said, oh no. I said, she is not going to be captured in one episode. I was like, nah, man. Listen. I hope our schedule is like a little flexible. I said, because I'm going to be trying to follow up with her, because like you have so many relatable, real topics. I'm like, man, if she is anywhere near what I've researched on her, that, oh, there ain't no way we're going to talk. Because it's like, you'd be like, oh, talk about this, talk about that. I'm like, oh, these 2 things alone is like a whole episode right here. I'm like, no. Like, let me. And I said, so I don't know what your schedule is. I know you're a busy woman and you have a lot of different endeavors and things like that. But I said, man, when I looked, I said, oh, no. I said, this is a lot of heavy, good stuff that people need to hear, right? They need to hear. And your personality just makes I don't know. It makes them like, yeah, I want her to say some. I want to say more, because, I don't tell people about my daughter. It's crazy. Like, this is my first time even speaking about that. This she's been on her little path for like maybe since January or so. I'll speak about that. You brought it out of me, just being so transparent and being so real, and speak about your own struggles like that. So when I get on here, I'm like, man, if somebody move me to say more about me, because I don't try to be an enigma or nothing like that, but it's like, yeah, it got to be the right person. I can't talk about these things to somebody who, and I'll talk to everybody, but you give me just A, B, C. That's all you give me, and that's cool. We could talk about A, B, and C, and we can elaborate A, B, and C. But I know you're not trying to go deep. I know you're trying to give a guard to what more that you're trying to elaborate about. So I appreciate that. Guess my last those segments. So you talk about your was a website, Speak Freedom. Speaking Freedom. Mm-hmm. So can you elaborate a little about that? Because I want people to be able to go there and be able to know what they're looking for, right? What started it, what it is, and hopefully I'm gonna get your book, because I anybody that I truly support what their movement is, I set the example like, yeah, look, I got this book and read this book. If y'all want to or not, I'm telling you, you know, so maybe later on I can read your book and review your book with you, ask you questions about it. But I'm a supporter because I spent money in the military in Korea and like soju and all this crazy shit. I
Oh
was
my
like,
God, I
yeah.
love soju. I need to go over to the Korean side of the land and get some soju.
Yeah, so I'm like, if I spend that, I'll just cut out a little bit here and I'll buy a book to support somebody. This money is just numbers changing, you know, like I'm not like so constricted where I'm like, oh, I gotta make this trust fund for my kids. No, I'm not like that, you know. So I'll support anyone, you know, that I feel like I truly believe that you're doing something that I feel is unique. Because like it's 8 billion people in the world, right? And I feel like 8 billion people in the world, I met somebody real and unique with this episode. So
Well,
can you talk a little bit about huh?
Thank you so very much. So I have 3 websites. I have 3 Instagram pages. My Instagram page is Speaking Freedom. I have Speaking Freedom TV. I have Good Head Group, and I have 4. And I have Speak Love Free KC. My Speaking Freedom is my main business site. But when I had all those, I had 70,000 posts on all 3 of those first pages. And so I would fill one up and then I'd be like, man, I can't do nothing with this. I need to go to another page. So I was building pages to kind of try to shuffle things around. So I actually use them all though. My website is speakingfreedom.org, and that website is really more informational. It tells you a lot about myself. My story is on my website, so you can actually read that I'm divorced and you know the things that I've gone through to a certain extent. My transparency scares people. The way that I move scares people because most people don't move like me. So it makes people more guarded because they don't know what I might say.
I love it. I like it. I embrace it. I love it. That's because I know personally, like that's not something that is normal.
And that's the thing.
Everybody got the status quo they trying to, you know, this image they trying to portray. But like, I think it's the people who actually embrace who they are. That is way more commendable, in my opinion. Way more commendable.
People don't buy Jay-Z albums because Jay-Z is the best rapper alive. People buy Jay-Z albums because Jay-Z's storytelling in his albums that make you feel like you know Jay-Z. I really build my foundation off of being transparent because if you know me, well, one, I'm a life coach. I don't take clients personally at the moment, but in being a life coach, it's life experience. Anybody can go to a life coach and get a certificate to be a life coach, but if you don't have no experience, then you just telling me what somebody told you. You're not telling me what you really know. So that makes a difference because if you know that I done been through some shit, then guess what? You don't know that I can really help you get through real shit. Not know, well, you know, because a lot of people, they do empowerment, everything, but they don't empower people. All they doing is, you can do it. This is how I did it. But they're not telling you step by step or the process because most of them are telling you some shit they looked online or somebody else told them. So they can't give you nothing else because they don't really know nothing else. And so when you go to speakingfreedom.org, you will see my story. You will see the services and the things that I do. You will see a full array of me and my story and what I look to bring with Speaking Freedom. Now, my other website is edu-freedom.org. And that is where most of my videos and stuff go to. So I have 3 businesses. I have Speaking Freedom, which is the online virtual coaching center that Dr. Kaci functions up under. But then I have Good Head Group and Love Gang. Good Head Group is a play on words because I enjoy sex, but also I'm intelligent. So it's not just about having good sexual head, but just having a good head on your shoulders, period. So in Good Head Group, it's the educational portion. And sex education is a portion of it. So with Good Head Group, it literally is where I'm about to start building my classes and making classes available, but that's where the bookstore is, where the merchandise is, and all of those things. And then with Love Gang, those two businesses go together, but Love Gang is the affiliation program. So after you've gone through some courses, after you've learned and applied some information, now what I do is I try to take care of you. Everybody that had ever worked with me or ever took some advice, we all gang. We all can interact with each other. So if I got resources, you got resources. I post people. If I post people, most of the people that I post end up going viral. They end up making it big just because I post them, because I put people on the radar. So, but all of that to me, okay, so the companies kind of birthed themselves. I didn't start out saying, aside from Speaking Freedom, I didn't start out saying, oh yeah, we're going to do Good Head Group and then it's going to be Love Gang. It was just like, okay, in the beginning, I seen something that said Love Gang and I'm about love. So I was like, okay, Love Gang, that sounds dope. So I started playing with the ideal of that. But then as my network of clientele built and the way that we were functioning, because again, I'm like how Denzel Washington was in American Gangster. Don't nobody talk on the phone. You know what I'm saying? So there's no direct connect in a lot of situations. There's no money.
I let a reference though.
No, I just posted it the other day because literally
talk to
Huey.
Huey. Talk to Huey. You talk to me.
You don't talk to me. You talk to them. So and literally that's kind of how my business is ran. You can put something out there, but people don't really talk to me. If you mention my name, then it's a red flag for people that really know how things work. Because in a way, as far as like mentioning, you can say stuff about me and reference me so that if somebody hear it and know what you're talking about, they'll know. But I do that because one, for privacy. I got a thing called public privacy. And public privacy is where if I discover something about you, if I have a dream about something, if I was telling you I cross-reference shit and be putting 2 and 2 together and it be 4. If I discover something like that, then it's fair for me to talk about because you didn't tell me that. And it's almost why I don't want to try to build relationships. I know a lot of celebrities. I'm happy that I don't closely be around them because it's things that I know about them that if I was close to them, you would think that I have to be telling somebody's business. But it's things that I see in my intuitive nature that I can speak on that you ain't never seen me with that person. So if I'm saying something, it's because of something in me is recognizing something that's going on. But in public privacy, there are people that I've helped save their marriages. I don't talk about those things. I don't say what I've said to who or how I may have DM'd or now it's one message that I talk about publicly. When T.I. went to jail, the last time, like the jail prison, I had emailed on Tiny's Twitter page. I was like, love endures all things, stay positive. I just kind of like sent her encouraging message. And she sent me a DM and said, thank you or whatever. And it kind of went from there. But I only talk about that part. I don't talk about if there was any other types of exchange outside of me saying, I used to go on people's pages and go way back to old, you know what I'm saying? Because I realized that if somebody see me saying something to somebody, they're going to look at me. So now they're watching everything that I do to try to figure out who I'm talking to and what I'm talking about. So in order to maintain other people's privacy, especially because my goal is to deal with celebrities. In order to maintain privacy, then it's some things that got to be off limits. So I call it public privacy. I don't talk publicly about a lot of things. If I do speak publicly about things that we've come about privately, I don't mention your name. So in order for somebody to know that I'm talking about you, you would have to say, well, to reference something I said so that people know that I'm referencing you. And it's a really good way to do what I do. It's very evasive. The only downside is that I should be a millionaire right now. I think that's the only downside.
I don't know, because you operate in a real what's the word I'm looking for? So many words in this world. I'm trying to look for words. I mean, you operate in respect.
Integrity. I do it.
There you go. It's integrity,
a lot
respect.
of those Army values that I still hold to the core of me.
Exactly. And it's funny that a lot of people just don't move like that. Right? Everybody's looking to get a dollar or how they can monetize something correctly. That's why I really like. I'm not. This is not just for the airways. I really I resonate with you. I really feel like. For the first time I'm speaking, like you've been so transparent. You've been real. I don't sense my just podcast only radars haven't came out there, and that's key, and I see that you have opportunities, and you don't take, you have opportunities where you can be mainstream or anything like that, but you choose to be who you are, and that's the beauty in being who you are. That's real confidence. That's real courage. That's real strength. And a lot of people don't, give enough credit to that. At all. I'm being serious. I don't think people give enough credit to that because it ain't easy to not be to go against the grain, to be like everybody else does, because it's not easy. And even with me, somebody gonna hear this. Even me in the military, right? I'm not on the machine, bro. I feel like I do my job
all the time. I remember I had on some red sneakers with my PT uniform, and I got in trouble because I had red sneakers on. It's PT. Let me wear my damn sneakers. I can't wear nothing else I want to wear. I can't do nothing else I want to do.
Right. We wear the uniform so much, but I just so with me, I care about my relationships with people more so than progression or my status and nothing like that. I'm treating people right. You know what I'm saying? Whatever age they are or whatever it is, I'm look, end of the day, when I take this motherfucking uniform off, that you'll know that if you see me another lifetime, another location, that he was real. He was somebody who genuinely cared about suicide, or if I was struggling with a marriage, or I was going through life stuff like that, outside just checking boxes. And I feel like you're the same exact way. And I'm not no way at all shitting on the military. It's just we know the military has its way, and we have our own way as people as well, right?
Let's just say this. The military is a part of a bigger structure in which it has to fall in line to. The military itself is really good. The reason why a lot of older people are very dress, and I use that term because that's the closest thing. Those are the only words that make sense to me. The reason why they're very strategic, they're very not always focused, but very exact in a certain way, is because most of the men had to go to the military. They didn't have a choice. So certain type of structure and discipline that they had. So the military has great portions. It really does. But it also has a lot of assholes that they were running from something themselves.
Oh boy.
That they were they may have been bullied. They probably got picked on, and then they come and they get there, and then they feel like they can, change their image or make themselves be more than who they are. And it's not necessarily a bad thing. I love the Army. It was the best decision that I ever made to bring my life to where it is today. And I recommend the Army for any young person who has lost your daughter. If she really out there, I would look. If you just need some structure, it's gonna pay you all your bills. It's gonna do. Now you might go to war. you might have to put. You know what I'm saying?
Hopefully not. Knock on wood. Hopefully not.
But it's the reality. Of it, and then knowing that you can get through it. If you do go in that direction, but the value of what you get, if you can survive going through all of that, is something that it can't be compared to. It's a camaraderie a little bit, but it's a lot of benefits. Whether it is the homestead exemptions, whether it is free, whatever you can, you know what I'm saying? It's certain things that my kids sometimes be like, they paying for that too. It's a benefit, bruh. This is why when I went to the Army, I was thinking, I'm 17. I can retire at 37. I still got a whole life to live. I'm about to, make this thing do what it do. And then I also knew that if you go into the military, you have long lifetime benefits in most cases for your children. So that means right now, my children will go to college for free. Now, if they get scholarships and all that, great. Guess what? They can still get money for free. So that means that any extra kickback that they can get from wherever extra money that they get put on their books, they can get that in their pocket. And, so I think that it is again, if it wasn't for the military, I don't know where I would be. I don't know who. I would probably still be me, but it wouldn't be this version of me that you see today. I would have traveled a different way, especially because at the route that I was going, there was no way for me to go to college at the time, and I had wanted to go to Bethune-Cookman. I had gone on college tours my whole little teenage life. When I was doing those summer jobs, they were sending me to college tours. I mean, my mama always sent me somewhere because she had something better to do, but it was beneficial for me because it exposed me to different things. So I know that if I would have stayed in school and maybe not have hung around some of the people that led to those fights, then I probably would have ended up going to college. But I love the path that I took because who I am today, I read my posts, I listen to my own videos, even when I listen to things that I say on stuff like this, and I be like, damn, I love how I think. I love who I am. I love that I can look in the mirror at myself and just be proud of myself. Like, I like the way I look. I have some things that people would consider flaws, but I'm 40 years old, child.
No, yeah.
I'm happy to be 40 because I know some people that didn't make it to C20. I know people that didn't make it to C25. I know people that didn't make it to C30. So to be going on 40, I have a house, I have a car, I have children that's doing good in school. To be what I feel like as a parent completely different than my mom, I feel like I'm winning.
No, you definitely winning. I mean, you ain't gotta say you feel like winning. You definitely win. Man, like people listen to this, like I know if the congratulatory whatever is not there, I don't give it. I'm literally telling you, like I don't. Yeah, this conversation. I love real conversations. I really do. I really do. That's why I do this. That's why I'll be up at midnight, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, wake up for PT at 5. I'll be struggling and shit. Like, I ain't gonna lie, but I do it for that because I have more of a passion for this. And not to say I don't have a passion for I don't have a passion for the military. I mean,
you can't really have a passion for the military, but you can love what you do. It's okay to it's not really a sacrifice because you do get stuff out of it. But there is some things.
It's definitely the sacrifice somewhere because you sacrifice like relationships and relationship with your family and your kids. You definitely, because sometimes you gotta just get yanked and you gotta figure that out. But the benefit, you still get some benefit out of it, and that's the thing about it. Like I tell like all the younger people, our skin color or not our skin color, I tell them like, look, don't come in here and not get nothing out of this because
them to go to school while they in there. Because I waited till afterwards, and I was thinking like, why wasn't I in school while I was in the military? Now let me tell you, you get out, you get your benefits, you get your disability, and if you ever get to 100% and you have student loans, they will waive your. I got $30,000 a raise from student loans. Don't sleep, but. You know why? Because I'm 100% disabled veteran, and that really made a way. That really, and when I say it's benefits, I'm not just talking about people think you're gonna get a little Camaro, and they make little jokes, but no, like I have a 6,000 square foot home. I don't work a regular job.
No, make your sacrifices. Make your sacrifices because time we can't get back. You gave time. And I think we underrate time. To be honest, we underrate time. Like, you don't get those years from 17 or whatever it was. You don't get that back. You don't get that back. So, like,
I feel like I missed. I wish I would have went to college and had the HBCU experience in the yard. It's so many people that I could have probably known and been known of if I would have gone to school, because that is a networking place. And it took for me to get 40 to really realize, that was really networking. I mean, we was in school, but everybody that's friends now been friends since college. And I mean, I got friends from the military, but most times you don't always align with who you're in the military with. So I mean, I got some people that I'm cool with from the military, but it's not a lot. I probably got I got 2 people that I talk to semi regularly, but I only really got one friend and he was in basic training with me at the same time. We was in Korea together, and we just, I mean, and we've gone through some things, but he is like a real friend. Like, I feel like if I call him and talk to him about something, he's going to be able to give me some feedback and a solution. Now, this other friend I got, she cool than a fan, but if I call her and talk about something, I'm not getting no answers. I'm not getting no feedback. When I went through something and I tried to call her, she was like, well, I don't know what you want me to do. Like, bitch, I call me all that. Please, give me the same the shoulder I give you. But, you know, but you learn people. And then that taught me a lot about how to deal with people. Being broke and getting sick will teach you the most lessons you will ever learn, aside from getting married, because getting married can teach you lessons about people too.
Facts, which I'm gonna ask you, partner. You can say no, you can say yes or no. You gonna follow up because, like you said, you got like marriage, divorce, sex coaching. You got so many layers to you that I'm gonna have to like re-engage with you.
I mean,
because
look,
I feel like
I will come back as many times as you want me to, because
don't say it on air now.
I'm saying it on air so you can hold me accountable. I know what I'm saying. Listen, I told you I do a political podcast every Monday. I make time for these type of things, and it is certain people in certain situations to where you realize that you can help not just people grow, but you can help the other people, the other person that you're involved with, and then it makes it more stronger. My goal isn't really to do my own thing. I'm good with helping people to do their thing. I used to try to do a lot of stuff when I was younger, and I would do something and then somebody else would do it, and I'd be like, man, I feel like people are always stealing my ideals. And this was even before Instagram, before Facebook. I just used to.
You're now tuned in to Flavor in Your Ear. Flavor in Your Ear.
Hey, what up, world? You are now tuned in, and we are your hosts. My name is Chris.
My name is Dre. This is my pops.
And this is my son. And therefore, we are
the Generational Gap Podcast.
See, on this podcast, we talk about all kinds of topics ranging from pop culture, news, sports, hip-hop. You know, all the things we enjoy and usually talk about, but we bring them to you and discuss them from a perspective of two very different generations.
We record every week. You can follow, like, subscribe on all streaming platforms, including YouTube, and you can catch us on social media at the Generational Gap Podcast.
So what you think, they was messing with that?
I hope so.
If not, they just missing out, I guess.
Yeah, straight up.
Let's get up out of here, man.
Let's go.